Good afternoon, everybody. We're going to go ahead and get started. I'm Karen Tamley. I'm the president and CEO of Access Living. I'm serving as today's moderator for our panel called Creating Stable Support Systems for Beneficiaries and Their Families in Community Living. I'd first like to welcome you all today and start by saying a little bit about the work of my organization and take a moment just to set the stage for the conversation today. Access Living is an advocacy center for disabled people and also a service center. We're led and operated by a majority of people with disabilities. We're located in Chicago in the US, and our mission is to ensure that our disability community has the supports and services that they need to live full, engaged lives of their choosing. Whether it's helping individuals finding affordable, accessible housing, attaining quality education, healthcare, and transportation, or moving out of an institution. We also offer emotional and life support skills through a peer-to-peer model, where disabled people are supporting other disabled people. And we strive to have those we serve become their own self-advocates. We're also focused on systems change, removing the barriers in order to create the world that we as disabled people want to live in. Our mission is fulfilled when disabled people are at the center of that change. We believe in the importance of having our consumers we serve inform our policy work, meaning that those who are experiencing the disability-related barriers firsthand, day to day, are the ones who are at the center of advocating for broader social change. This is a core principle of authentic policymaking. Some other examples might include having impacted individuals design the advocacy strategy, bringing their lived experience to legislative bodies to inform needed policy change. More broadly, it can extend to working closely with NGOs who are delivering community programs, designers of consumer products, developers of technology, architects of public spaces and buildings, to ensure that it's truly accessible and usable, inclusive, and serves the real needs of disabled people. We know that for too long, the voices of disabled people have been undervalued, and in many cases simply ignored. Too often, decisions have been made without us, or for us, not with us. But when disabled people from diverse identities and lived experience are meaningfully included, even leading the decision-making and design of government policies, places and spaces, products, programs, and services from the beginning, not as an afterthought, that's when we can truly empower our community and create a world that's meaningfully inclusive for everyone. This is the impact of authentic policymaking. This is the impact it can have, and how disabled people and their families can get what they need in order to live the lives of our choosing. So today we'll have the chance to explore global good practices that have created support systems for persons with disabilities in a community living setting. And these projects will speak truth to the connection between authentic policymaking and independent living. Panelists, I'd like to welcome you all today and for being with us here in Vienna. We do have one panelist, I believe, that will be speaking virtually. You're all leaders in your fields, and many of you on the stage are also recipients of Zero Project Awards for your impactful work. So we have 80 minutes today. Every panelist is going to present a PowerPoint describing their work and for 8 minutes. And so without further ado, why don't we get started? So I'd first like you to just introduce yourself properly and some of the work you do, and then just move into your presentation. And that we do also, as a reminder, have a timekeeper here to keep us on track. Birgit ROTHENBERG from Germany, I'd like to welcome you as a panelist.
Hello. Thanks to Zero Project for inviting us. We are glad for this chance to discuss. Some sentences about Mobile, Selbstbestimmtes Leben, Behinderter e.V. Mobile is an association of the independent living movement founded in 1983. Today, 40 years later, Mobile is an organization of advocacy for the disabled with a peer counseling center and also a social enterprise with services of assistance for adults with learning disabilities who live in their own flat. Mobile has 50 employees and an honorary board team. Next. Yeah. Now, we talk about the service of supported parenting. Since 2005, Mobile offers an outpatient support service for parents with learning difficulties and living with their children. At the aim of this offer, to give parents and children the chance to live together, to enable the children to grow up well, to strengthen the parenting skills of parents. Supported parenting begins with reflection and advice on the desire to have children and support during pregnancy. If necessary, families are supported until the children reach the age of majority. The support takes place within the network of families in close cooperation with the midwife, daycare center, school, and so on. In terms of content, a wide variety of topics are also covered here, depending on requirements, so as nursing, care, support, development and upbringing of children, but also everyday and household organization, daily and weekly structure is covered. If necessary, appointments can be made at the weekend, and there is a possibility of around-the-clock availability, in particular with a newborn baby. The support is usually provided in teams of 2 persons, consisted of a qualified specialist from the socio-educational field and an educator. Next. We carried out a model project, development of guidelines for quality features of, one back, please. We carried out a model project, development of guidelines, thanks, for quality features of supported parenting in North Rhine-Westphalia from 2018 to 2020. It was a cooperation between science and practice. The aim of the project was to develop quality standards for supporting parents with learning difficulties and their children. On this basis, a spread of offers for families throughout the state should be achieved. The basis for the quality standards was on the parents' point of view, collected in detailed interviews and a workshop with parents. 2 rural regions in North Rhine-Westphalia were supported during the project in setting up offers of supported parenting with regards to cooperation and networking. It became clear how important it is to first sensitize for people with learning difficulties to the topic of supported parenting. Clarifying the question of who is responsible, youth welfare or disability assistance, is of central importance so that support services can be set up. Employees must be informed and qualified. This applies to practitioners in services and institutions as well as to the employees of the service providers who decide on the type and scope of support. Let's speak about challenges and perspectives. The right to parenthood for parents with learning difficulties is not yet obvious. There is a lack of local support services. The cooperation between the disability welfare and youth welfare needs to be improved. There are no inclusive offers. More participation of parents and children is needed in the doing of support. But there is one highlight to tell. Legal protection has improved in 2020, but still needs to be put into practice. So far, have been only a few general family-specific offers in bigger towns that are geared towards parents with learning difficulties and their needs. Opening up these offers would improve the situation of both parents and children. Thanks. All results of the model project have been placed in a portal. It's online now for more than a year. This online portal was developed in the project in order to give specialists, both payers and service providers, easy access to the quality standards and all information from this project. It's aimed at specialists from the field as well as managers. It's intended to reflect on one's own work as well as support in setting up one's own offerings. This contains 12 guidelines for support, materials and reflection questions for professionals, a supply map for North Rhine-Westphalia, information and material for parents, research results, which are interviews with parents, interviews with adult daughters, group discussions with co-bearer, service providers, and so on. Even if a lot of the information relates to the situation in Germany, the portal offers comprehensive information with regard to pedagogical support, which can also be helpful and useful elsewhere. Thank you for your attention.
Great, thank you so much. That was really an interesting project and look forward to learning more. I think there's a lot of more conversation that needs to be happening around supporting parents with disabilities. And so that's excellent. Thank you for sharing that. I'd like to go on now to our next speaker, Ido BARNEA, who is the Young Adults Program Manager at Krembo Rings in Israel.
Thank you. For those who can't see me, my name is Ido. I'm a 36-year-old white male, still have my hair but not blonde anymore, and I'm single if somebody cares. I'm very excited to be here to present the work we do at Krembo Wings. With me there's Adi, which is my colleague and my mentor a lot of times. For those of you who don't know, let's move it on. Krembo Wings is a yacht movement that brings together yachts with different abilities for an afternoon social educational activity, that it's both accessible and suited for a diverse range of abilities and needs of all our participants. Young people with a wide variety of disabilities and at all functioning levels are included in the activity. The heterogenic group activity raises awareness of unique population and social accessibility while responding to the needs of all participants and their inclusion in the Israeli society. In Israel, state responsibility for people with disabilities moves from Ministry of Education to Ministry of Labor and Welfare at the age of 21. Up until that move, at age 21, adolescents with disabilities receive a wide support structure of education, treatment, escort, and help. Afterwards, the young adult is transferred to the responsibility of Ministry of Labor and Welfare, and the scaffolding is more limited. Our programs, is aimed to respond to one of the main challenges young people with disabilities face after finishing the education system, finding their unique way in employment. The program provides support for an important stage in the lives of young people in general and young people with disabilities in particular. The transition from adolescence to adulthood can be hard. We believe that it is important to allow young adults to go through this developmental stage with appropriate mediation, up to the point where the person can be independent. We wish to enable participants to acquire life skills in their own independent way. The program targets the process of mentoring young adults, employees with a variety of disabilities and different function levels, through the process of including them in employment. The fact that most of our participants have been part of the art movement from a young age give us the privilege of being familiar with them, and for them the opportunity to be familiar with us, which create a safe and comforting basis for learning. In the program, we enable experience within the peer group and in the community where the participant lives. We create a safe environment for professional and social experimentation where you can make mistakes, adjust, and try again without being afraid to fail. The participants have the opportunity to gain experience of working in a familiar and inclusive environment, yet very diverse by all means. Our goals: we help them to realize their desires and dreams while acquiring important skills for an independent life within a diverse community and society. In order for them to fulfill their dreams and potential, it is necessary to adopt the mentoring program to reflect each participant's strengths and abilities. The process requires identifying strengths, helping participants to become aware of their abilities, and assisting each participant to find the right position in their organization accordingly. The tailored mentoring process is based on 3 principles which we rely on when building the program, specifically tailored to each participant. Ability: we focus on abilities and not limitations. We value and assess the achievement and self-progress of each participant. Independence can be seen in different ways: independent thinking, free will, choice, or any small action. We encourage participants to locate the areas where they can be independent in their own environment and ask what aids could help them to increase their independence. And leadership is not only manifested in charisma or involving a lot of people, but in the actual change the person makes to his environment. Knowing how to ask for help and motivate others to help me reach my goal is a very important skill on the road to success. In order for the participants to become employees, they go through an onboarding process like any other employee, just with more mediation and adapted to their pace. They work within different departments of the organization and are an integral part of daily life in the office, both formally and informally, including lunch breaks, training days, and parties. The role of the mentor is to guide, train, and accompany the employees. We aim to help them learn about themselves, what is the best, useful, and right way to be independent in their work, understand tasks, and execute them. The mentor also helps them through personal mentoring and joint thinking about ways to solve dilemmas and difficulties that arose. Often the challenges are not just practical, but also relate to interaction, interpersonal, social communication, and understanding the workplace culture. Throughout the period of employment, there is a continuous cooperation and communication between all the players involved in the employee's inclusion in the workplace. This promotes understanding between the employee and the direct manager in order to encourage optimal problem solving and proper inclusion in the department. Mediation, of course, changes over time, and the goal is to reduce the need for close supervision and expand the ability to conduct oneself independently. The synergetic integration in each of the organization departments is the overall goal of the process. The appropriate mediation approach allows them to fulfill their role and learn skills of independence that assist them later in their career, such as self-introduction, self-advocacy, develop realistic expectations, completing tasks in a timely manner according to the requirements, managing workplace relationships with colleagues, and later identifying needs and opportunities on their own performing tasks and performing their own tasks without being told what to do. Beside the obvious impact on the life of the person with the disability, there is an impact on the rest of the employees. Employees and managers also receive guidance and support to succeed in being colleagues and managers in a way that will support the optimal inclusion of the employee with disabilities in the workplace. They learn not to pity, demand, set limits in an appropriate way, and also to be able to identify abilities and limitations of each employee and to adjust expectations and requirements accordingly. A typically developed employee who experiences success in working alongside an employee with disability will more likely to be happy to include more employees and will also influence the transfer those values to wider circles outside the workplace, such as family, friends, and community. It is important to remember this is a process. It is necessary to invest efforts and means in order to promote and develop it. But we are sure the program promotes the employees and everyone who takes part in the process, and it is a milestone in a way to accomplishing our organization vision, together creating a meaningful place for everyone. We rely on the belief that it is necessary to enable belonging, to give respect, to take an active part so that each participant and every one of us is given the opportunity to contribute to society, to demonstrate our strength, to take responsibility, and commit to an act so that every place is sufficiently accessible and will allow this process. The experience of being an employee in Krembo Wings allow young adults of all abilities to experience, gain confidence, and establish their independence on their way to full social belonging in the community.
Mm-hmm. Great, thank you so much. Great presentation. Thank you. Definitely feeling a need. That age of 21 is really the critical point at which people just drop off and don't get the same level of services that they got as a younger disabled person. So you're absolutely meeting them right there where they need that support. I wanted to just check to see if we have our virtual presenter. Is that something that we're able to hook into now? Yeah, so I wanted to introduce Satoshi SATO, who is the Secretary General for Disabled Persons Japan. And I know that we're going to be having language translation, so we may go a little bit over the 8 minutes. But just to break it up a little bit, I'd like to turn it to you now and have you present the project that you're and the work that you're doing there in Japan. Go ahead.
Hello, everyone. My name is Satoshi Sato. I'm Secretary General of DPI Japan, and I also board member of Japan Council on Independent Living Centers. Today, I want to talk about disability movement and development of accessibility and personal assistant system in Japan.今日は、3つのことをお話しします。1つ目は30年前の日本、2つ目は障害者運動が社会を変える、3つ目がまとめです。
Today, I would like to speak about three things, 3 points. First one is about Japan 30 years ago. And second one is the disability movement changed society. And third one is a conclusion. I sum up my presentation.
まず30年前の日本です。
So at first, it's about Japan 30 years ago.
1990年頃の日本ですけれども、交通アクセスは、ほとんど良くなかったです。
Next slide, please. And also next slide. So in 1990s in Japan, accessibility to public transportation was not good.
駅に、私は車椅子なんですけれども、電車を乗りに行くとですね、駅員さんに、こんなに混んでる時になんで車椅子で来るんだ、介助者もなしに車椅子で来るな、乗ってもいいけど手伝わないよっていうふうに言われました。
So I myself is a wheelchair user, and in 1990s when I went to the station, station staff always told me that, why do you come here in this busy moment, or don't come to the station without assistant? Or one said that, okay, you can get on board, but I don't help you, like that.
駅に電車に乗りに行くということは、駅員と喧嘩しに行くということと同じで、もう気合を入れないと、なかなかいい日には行けませんでした。
So this means that at the time, go to the station means that get cooler with the station staff. So I split up myself, and so I have to fight with the station staffs.
ヘルパー制度もほとんどなく、重度の障害者は施設に入るか親元で家族の介助を受けるしかなかったです。
And so next slide, please. So, and at the time, there was not a personal assistance system, just only a little bit of available assistance system, but not enough. So if one had, if you had severe disabilities, you had to live in institutions or under the care of parents.
市役所にヘルパー制度を作ってくださいっていうふうに要請に行くと、重度障害者は施設か親元しかないからヘルパー制度なんかできるわけないだろうというふうに言われました。
So then if we went to the disability welfare section of local municipality to request for services, we were often told that the person with severe disability can live only at the institution or home with parents' care.
2つ目は障害者運動が社会を変えるです。
So next slide, please. So next point is that disability movements changes society.
1970年代から日本の各地で交通アクセス運動が始まりました。
And in our 70s, everywhere in Japan, the accessibility movements began.
DPI は1988年から全国一斉のアクセス運動を始めました。
And DPI Japan organized a campaign for accessible public transportation since 1988.
そして2000年に交通バリアフリー法が制定されて、全国の鉄道駅のバリアフリー化が大きく進展して、今では駅にエレベーターがあるのは当たり前になりました。
And in 2000, the barrier-free law Act for Accessibility established in Japan. So this one is a huge improvement of accessibility of transportation, especially train stations nationwidely. So elevators, lift became an ordinary facility of the stations.
で、地域生活は、1970年ぐらいから一人暮らしの運動が始まって、ここからヘルパー制度を作ってくれという活動が始まりました。
Regarding to the living in the community, practice of living in the community began in 1970s. From that, the movement began to establish public personal assistance system.
で、1990年代から各地でヘルパー制度が少しずつ始まって、2004年ぐらいから全国の制度に広がっていきました。当事者が運動することによってヘルパー制度が拡充して全国に広まりました。
So in 1990s, at the several municipality, at the municipality level, personal assistance system began with a movement by persons with disabilities. And then through the social movement by persons with disabilities, the system for personal assistant it's come to be nationwidely.
で、今では、自治体によるんですけれども、24時間のヘルパー制度というのもできております。
So, it's up to our municipality, but now in Japan, have several of the municipality have a system for 24-hour service of personal assistant.
運動のポイントをまとめました。まず一つ目は組織化、草の根の運動から全国の連携した運動へ展開する。2つ目は法制度の理解と戦略、どんな法律が必要か戦略を考えました。
So here I sum up the points of social movement we learned. That first one is organizing movement. So from grassroots to nationwide, a coordinated movement, so expand the movement from a grassroots to nationwide. And second point is we understand the legal system and make us having a strategy.
3つ目は政治家や行政の職員への働きかけ、私たちのニーズを伝えていきました。で、4つ目はマスコミへの働きかけ、問題を伝えて報道してもらうという取り組みをやってきました。
And third point is that we organize lobbying to politicians and the public administrations. So then through that, we are told, speak about our needs. And the fourth point is outreaching to mass media. So we show our issues through the mass media.
最後、まとめです。
So next slide is conclusion.
ここで皆さんにクイズを出します。1990年の東京、今から33年前ですけれども、474駅がありました。このうち車椅子で自由に利用できるバリアフリー化された駅はどのぐらいあったと思いますか？
So I give you a small quiz. In 1990, there were 474 train stations in Tokyo. So how many of them were fully accessible for wheelchair users?
答えは0です。一駅もなかったんです。
The answer is 0. There was no stations accessible for wheelchair users.
荷物用のエレベーターを使ったりっていう駅はありましたけど、実質的には0でした。
So there was a lift station equipped lift for not for persons but only for luggage. So exclude of that, there was no station which equipped with elevator.
2つ目のクイズです。最新のデータですけれども、2021年3月の東京は759駅があって、このうちバリアフリー化された駅はいくつになったでしょうか？
So next slide, quiz 2. In March 2021, there are 759 train stations in Tokyo. So how many of them are accessible?
答えは716、94.3% です。
The answer is 716 stations. So 94.3% of the stations are accessible to wheelchairs.
どこも行けなかった街が30年間でどこでも行ける街に変わりました。
So 30 years ago, we couldn't go anywhere with wheelchair, but now we can go everywhere using trains.
最後のスライドをお願いします。社会は変わるということを皆さんにお伝えしたいと思います。
Next slide, please. I want to say that society can be changed.
障害者が運動すれば社会は変わります。勝手に良くなったわけじゃなくて、障害者の運動によって整備が進みました。
So with the movement of persons with disabilities, society can be changed. So improvement of society didn't come from nothing, didn't come passively, but with our movement.
文化は変わります。長い歴史を経て作られたもので変えられないと思いがちですけれども、そこに住む人にとって良いものであれば必ず変わっていきます。
And also, we can say that the culture also can be changed. So it's often said that the culture cannot be changed because it's made of the history. But if we try, culture also can be changed.
大切なことは障害当事者が伝えて改善を求めて運動することです。ありがとうございました。
So very important point is that we persons with disabilities, if we raise the voice and organize movement, change will happen for improvement. Thank you very much.
Thank you. That was an excellent presentation, and I know so much of the accessible transportation and home services is because of your activism and policy changes in Japan. So long respected your work. Thank you. I'm going to turn to our next speaker now. Let's go to Inbal BOAZ, who's the head of Recreational and Social Inclusion Division in Israel. And why don't you introduce yourself and tell us about your work. And go closer to the mic, maybe, just so people can hear.
Hello, everyone. It is a pleasure to be here with you today. And before I introduce myself, I would like you to begin with a short exercise. I invite you to think about one thing you all like to do in your free time, something that you do for fun only, and that makes you feel good. What is it? What about it makes you feel good? How does it affect your life? Take a few more seconds to feel that good feeling. So my name is Inbal BOAZ, head of the Recreational and Social Inclusion Division in Shekulo Group, Israel. I have a curly hair, and I wear brown and a black dress. I'm an occupational therapist, and have devoted my career to promote the inclusion of people with disabilities in meaningful, independent leisure life. Doesn't work. Next, okay. Next, please. Next. I would like to share with you our numbers as a group. 6,800 service users with disabilities, 600 staff members, 148 vocational and leisure units, 246 service users get a special training and take part in decision-making, for example, interviewing new professional staff. 9,000 social activities annually. 80% of them are in natural community. 40% of the service users already participate in independent leisure. 34% of service users already find work in the open labor market. Our annual turnover is 29 million euros, no donation and no volunteer policy. Okay. Our services, sorry. Okay. Almost all of our service users reported experiencing loneliness at some point in their lives, with some psychological, mental, or emotional effects. A lot of times, people with disabilities want to increase their social interactions and leisure inclusion, but they don't know how and where to start. Our services are not only designed to tackle loneliness, but also to improve social skills and break leisure inclusion barriers on the way to independency. For example, we practice together any potential challenge: how to order from the waiter, buy a movie ticket, go to the mall, or invite a friend. We have built a person-oriented intervention called SAME. It is accompanied on a large-scale logistical infrastructure. I would like you to meet Fakhriya Zayed, 37-year-old woman. She receives services in East Jerusalem in a community hub based on the same model, which is adapted for the Arabic society in Israel. I felt meaningless and was full of shame. I sat for days at home doing nothing, she says. I will continue to elaborate on her story after this clip. So there is a movie now.
Shekulo Group implements innovative models to promote the inclusion of people with disabilities in employment and leisure activities in order to maximize independent living. According to research, a lack of knowledge and accessibility are the main reasons people with disabilities are often not included in leisure activities and cultural events, and tend to be far more lonely than people without disabilities. Since 2005, we have been changing this reality. The same model is a person-oriented process that promotes personal growth and proactiveness in regard to independent and meaningful leisure. Focused on personal choice and flexibility, the same model has 4 components. Choose which skills you want to improve, such as interpersonal communication, self-confidence, or financial literacy. Choose activities, 200 weekly options in 42 community-based hubs and local community events, workshops, outdoor-indoor events, various sports activities, and numerous online lectures. Tell us what kind of mediation on your part you prefer. What are your support needs? What kind and level of support and assistance would you require from our staff? And what kind of environment, loud or quiet, indoor or outdoor, online or on-site, in a group setting or with a friend or a family member? We have all options available. What makes our service unique? We encourage our service users to initiate their own activities, setting in motion independent leisure activities with other members or friends. Our team is always available for remote and virtual support. Digital proficiency program, social media, transportation apps, and orientation. We understand that leisure is different in different cultures and communities. That is why we have 12 community hubs for hundreds of people in the Arab society in Israel with disabilities.
العلاقة بداخل النادي أعطتني أول الطريق إني أقدر أخالط الناس اللي برا، ومع الوقت تعودت على المخالطة وتعودت على الحديث وعلى النقاش وعلى كل هالأمور هاي. بحس حالي إنه رجعت طبيعي أكثر.
LGBTQs with disabilities participate with pride in our 2 community hubs for the general population. And most importantly, we have an easy-to-use website. Select or create your own event. And what are the results of our work? 3,500 service users take part in over 9,000 activities annually. Increased independence and participation in other activities, such as work, social relationships, and independent living.
נתן לי ביטחון, זה נתן לי להרגיש נחשב, זה נתן לי להרגיש שאני תורם. זה כיף לבוא, להכיר אנשים, לדבר איתם. לשמוע עליהם, לספר להם עליי.
84% reported that their social skills and self-confidence have improved. 88% reported that other aspects of their lives have improved since entering the program. The same model, proactivity that creates social independence. Join the next revolution in recreational and leisure inclusion.
Okay, so back to Fakhria. Let's see how the same model was relevant to a process through the following 4 dimensions. Skills. Fakhria was interested in improving her financial literacy and social skills. Also, she desired to have a family. Activities. Fakhria liked participating in social gatherings, enrichment workshops, and guided tours. Mediation. She chose intensive mediation and support during the activities and one-on-one meetings with her staff member. Environment. Fakhria loves spending time in nature and in a community hub. She also likes online activities, an opportunity to meet people outside of Jerusalem. Like Fakhria, there are thousands of participants. They come to our meetings, cultural events, recreations, vacations, classes, and community centers. We also offer vocational training and support employment services. This allows people like Fakhria to promote independence in 2 important areas. Today, Fakhria feels completely different. She is happily married and says that, I became self-confident, independent, working, and happily married. I am a woman who does whatever she wants, knows herself, and loves herself. It has been a journey of self-discovery, and I gained essential self-advocacy skills. Today, I know how to express myself, my desires, and my opinions, and claim my rights without fear. It gave me the confidence to integrate into the society. Fakhria's story is only one example of many journeys of success. We have created a flexible model to support the participation of thousands of service users so that they can promote their journeys of independent living and social inclusion. Today, we're working with organizations in Spain and Germany to expand our model. I would like to thank you for your time and invite you to contact us to think about cooperations. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and thank you for sharing the video too. That was excellent. We're running short on time, but I want to make sure that we get to everyone. So let me now turn to Lorenza, project manager with Comune. Do I have that right? Oh, good, yes. Why don't you go ahead and describe your project, and just make sure that we're watching the clock here, because I want a chance for everyone on the panel to be able to present. Thanks.
Okay. Hi, everybody. Thank you to Zero Project for the invitation. I'm Lorenza REBUZZINI. I am a middle-aged white woman with brown hair and brown eyes and black and white blues. So, Fondazione La Comune. Fondazione La Comune has a mission of giving an innovative and generative answer to support the right to independent living for young people with intellectual disabilities in an innovative and generative way. We are a social enterprise, so we aim at achieving full sustainability of our projects and program and model of intervention. Our intervention to build an adult life has two pillars: autonomous life outside family of origin and work. We have a model, but we have learned that it isn't a one-way road for someone. Adult life starts with life outside family, for others from work. It depends. It's a personal path, depending on each one's attitudes, desires, capacities, and of course also economic possibilities. The Casa Comune program, Casa Comune means common house, is our program, started in 2013 as an innovative project to go over the two main options that were given to young people with intellectual disabilities: living with their families and so never become fully adult, or living in communities or shelter homes and so never become independent. Case Comuni program is based on three pillars. First one is pure living. Our young people live with their peers. It's a mix of young people with and without disabilities. They are university students or young workers that don't have an educational role. They are just a stimulus, and the person with disabilities is the owner of the apartment in which they live. We have 3 apartments in Milan, and where there are currently living 8 young people with disabilities and 3 students, university students. Second pillar is multidisciplinary non-residential team. Our team is composed by psychologists, pedagogists, and educators that don't live with the young people, but assist them on a daily basis, sharing spare time between work hours and dinner and helping to solve daily problems. Third pillar is individualized educative program, because the multidisciplinary team develops a personalized projects for each young living in the home. Progresses towards major autonomy are monitored and evaluated. The educational project embraces all aspects of adult life of our young people, also those outside home, relation with the family of origin, working life, sentimental and sexual life. Next slide. Second pillar, training and employment. Our employment program started in 2020 during the pandemic, not a good period. In 3 years, we have been growing in the green and garden maintenance. We have opened a flower shop in Milan, and we have started with a training program for employment to support employment chances in June 22, so we are new at it. Our stakeholders, all people, it comes to how independent living can be achieved in a stable way. We are currently working on a mix of public economic provisions, personal income, and community engagement. So we are working with a lot of stakeholders each one having an important role. First, public institution. Of course, all people with disabilities in Italy have a small economic provision, and in addition, there is an economic provision for people with disabilities living outside family, coming from a national law which is called Dopo di Noi, that is after us, that supports people with a disability living independently. As regards employment, we work with the Greater Metropolitan Area of Milan that administrates the Regional Fund for Employment of Persons with Disabilities and the dedicated employment service. This institution funded the first stage of the flower shop, and we are starting a collaboration on the training program. Municipality and social services are another important stakeholder in terms of daily care center, of course, activities and cultural activities offered in the community. Second stakeholders, family, very important. Families of origin are essential, and their engagement is essential in co-projecting and in building the path. They have been involved in the project of the Case Comuni since the very beginning. As a matter of fact, they have asked for the Case Comuni program. If engagement is essentially, boundaries also need to be set when their role become a little bit intrusive. But on the other hand, we understand also family needs support in a very delicate phase when the children are going away from home. On the other hand, family are an important and intangible asset fundamental in the community-led strategy that we are building. Another two stakeholders, community, which has many different declinations. Church, we are currently, one of the two apartments are owned by a parish, roommates in the Case Comuni who can afford a living. Already finished, okay. I will go to that. And then NPOs, neighborhood volunteers for the shop. Private donors, corporate foundation, community foundation, we have met them. Last but not least, corporation enterprises. We have some laws that help in employing young people with disabilities. We can work as outsourcing companies, so we have employed 2 people as outsourcing company, as a social enterprise, and then we have the ESG that has already been said, this morning, is very helpful in this moment of to help employment of people. Lessons learned, challenges to change. First one, it takes time, as it was said, so passing from project to program. School are the stakeholder that is missing in our short list of stakeholders, and we need to work on that. And then another very important item, the importance of evaluation and orientation for young people in training and employment. I think that it is an issue. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Sorry, we're getting short on time here. I'd like to now turn it back to Japan. We're going to hear from Mitsutoshi OYABU from Japan, who's traveled many hours to get here. And he is the co-founder of the Project for the Future Liberation and Deinstitutionalization of Muscular Dystrophy wards in Japan. So take it away, you have 8 minutes.
Okay, can you hear me? Okay, thanks Karen for introduction. First of all, thank you so much for giving me this precious opportunity today. For those who cannot see me, I'm a yellow man with black hair, wearing white and blue plaid shirt in my wheelchair. And it is my greatest pleasure to be a part of the Zero Project Big Family this time. I'm Mitsutoshi OYABU from Japan, and a co-founder of Project for the Future Liberation and Deinstitutionalization of Muscular Dystrophy Wars. Today, let me introduce our project actions we have conducted and what we have achieved. So our project was launched on 4th February 2019. In Japan, there are 26 hospitals which have specialized wards for muscular dystrophy on National Hospital Organization, where more than 2,000 people are institutionalized. Many of them are forced to live there with little freedom from childhood to the end of life. So our primary challenge is to promote transitions to the community. At the same time, however, it is also urgent to improve the environment inside the wards where inpatients are suffering from too strong restrictions under the name of medical treatment. To tackle these challenges, more than 200 people have been involved in our project, mainly people with disabilities living in the community and the wards from all over the country, as well as specialists from various fields. As I said, while inpatients in the wards are being forced to live under inhumane situations, it is also true that social security systems have developed in Japan, and 24-hour attendance services are guaranteed in almost all areas. That means any people with disabilities can spend independent living regardless of how much care they need. The gaps between living in the wards and in the community is so huge. So we have conducted various actions in order to fill the gaps to make our society more inclusive. So from here, let me present our 6 major actions we have taken to reach our goals. And first, we have helped patients in the wards who want to transition to the community, no matter where they live, by involving our broad network of stakeholders. And 2, the project has built women's network for empowerment and exchanging information only among women with disabilities. They have also tackled problems that female patients have faced, like opposite-sex care inside institutions. And 3, we hold online meetings with inpatients on Zoom every month. This promotes interaction between people with disabilities in the wards and in the community. And the next one, 4, we conducted a survey of the state of muscular dystrophy wards by directly interviewing the 58 inpatients in 18 different wards at their bedsides. And 5, we exchanged opinions with the Ministry of Health, Labor and Welfare several times to promote the institutionalization and improve the environment in the wards based on what we heard from the inpatients. And lastly, some members went to Geneva last summer to lobby the Committee on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities for the sessions of CRPD toward Japanese government. And here, I would like to talk about what is unique and innovative about our project and how we made impacts on society. As you all know, we were strongly restricted to meet people face-to-face because of the COVID-19 pandemic. So we couldn't help but use online tools to communicate with inpatients. This was a game changer for us, though. It was originally not easy for us to visit and enter the wards, so we succeeded in making communication with impatients much easier beyond place and time by fully using online tools. This innovation also enabled us to support transitions everywhere by sharing information and experiences with stakeholders. In addition, I think this is the most important point of our project. Former impatients who transitioned to the community, and even those who are currently living in the wards, have joined our project, and they are making actions together. We are very proud that we are literally practicing nothing about us without us. And moreover, thanks to the long-standing actions taken by Centers for Independent Living, 24-hour attendance services or medical care by attendants, including sucking sputum or something, are guaranteed in Japan. That's why we can promote transitions of people who need medical care a lot. I believe that we have made impacts on society to a specific level. First and foremost, more than 10 people have left the wars in these 3 years and obtained freedom in the community. Not only that, we have made the public know about the inhumane situation inside the wars and the importance of the institutionalization through various actions. In addition, we succeeded in making a new wave of social change in Japan by involving people with severe disabilities in our project by using ICT. So I want to conclude my presentation showing our next steps. As written on this slide, we will continue to put our efforts on improving the circumstances inside the wards and promoting transitions from the wards to the community, because we consider that these are 2 of the most important tasks we need to tackle at the same time. So we have to keep moving toward our missions to realize perfectly inclusive society where any and every person can live together in the community as they wish. Our challenge will go on. Free our people. Thank you for your listening.
Thank you so much for that presentation. Without further ado, let's move to our last speaker, Yasmine CHAKIR. Why don't you take it away?
Hello. Hello, everyone. I'm very happy to be here today among you and to have the chance to be invited and to participate in this international conference, Project 23. So I introduce myself. I'm Yasmine CHAKIR from Morocco. I have 24 years old and I am a project manager of the UNOR Association. So as a part of the session, creating stable support systems for beneficiaries and their families in community living, I'm going to present our project, which is UNOR, in collaboration with the social enterprise Stars Ajmal, daycare center and embroidery atelier for women artisans with disabilities. So at the beginning, why we choose Marrakesh? Because it's the tourist capital for more than a century in Morocco, and the textile industry in the socio-economic development is a known reality. It represents a major social safety net, which strongly contributes to the creation of jobs and to the reduction in the unemployment rate. Yes. So for the background of the UNOR organization and the UNOR association. First, UNOR means light in Arabic. It is created in 2030 by the social entrepreneur and philanthropist Patricia Kahan. As you see, there is the UNOR company and the UNOR association. So these 2 separate entities constitute the social enterprise. And for gender and disability lens, employment and social services, this is what UNOR seeks to guarantee for women with physical disabilities. And the picture shows the workshop where women do embroidery. The essence of our project. So, the organization and the association work together representing two sides of the same coin to provide the best opportunities for women with disabilities in Marrakesh. They have a fully accessible workspace adapted to the specific needs. They have skills training, an adapted van-provided transport to work in UNOR. They do literacy and soft skills training, access to quality health care, a nursery, meal service for free, a rising awareness, and civic rights education. For the innovative aspect. So, the UNOR company and the association are legally two separate entities responsible for their own activities. The association services are currently paid for by UNOR company, not to the association, but to the service providers. As the association is building its funding network to become financially independent with the provided services, the women are able to work at the company. So both the company and the association work to provide a modern and accessible working environment according to international standard, a functional professional organization, and above all, a stable employment with health and pension benefits to women that are generally excluded from these opportunities due to their gender and their disabilities. For the impact created. So, while financial and socio-economic independence are the main impact goals for UNOR, there is also a more comprehensive set of other long-term impact goals to address the complex situation that women with disabilities face in Morocco, like financial independence, gender equality, disability rights, social mobility, civil society, sustainable local and artisanal crafts, and following the sustainable development goals. So, over time, UNOR wishes to achieve impact in different ways, starting at the level of individual lives, but with the ambition to extend the scope to more inclusion and rights for women with disabilities. And now for the success factor, details, and life stories. When you walk into the workspace of UNOR, you feel and see that women are happy to have a place to work. So UNOR starts with the individual stories of each of the women involved with UNOR. Their stories inform other women in Morocco, retailers, funders, visitors, local and international partner organizations about the need and the potential of the UNOR. This is Nora. It plays an important role as the secretary and the board member of the UNOR Association. While facing her own challenges with her height, she is always in a good mood. She has her clothes and shoes custom made to her needs, and her desk and chair have been adapted to her needs to complete all her work on the computer. For the financial sustainability and challenges, so the role of the business partner is crucial to the UNOR company as well as the UNOR association. The business partner recognizes the quality work of the company representing high and local and artisanal crafts. Without the business partner, UNOR would not be able to offer sustainable employment to the women, and the association would have no cost to provide the social services. At the moment, the demand exceeds the production capacity of the UNOR. And for the next steps of the project, so the initial focus of the UNOR Association will be to become financially independent from the UNOR company, by which it can support the current group of women as well as expand its services to a larger group as the UNOR company will continue to grow. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We got through all of our panel presentations. I want to thank you all for coming. This was a great opportunity for our audience to hear really, really diverse projects and the work that you're all doing around promoting independent living in so many areas: transportation, employment, recreation, supporting parents with disabilities. and community living. And so from 7 different countries too. So it was really great to hear all that. Timekeeper, do we have 3 more minutes? 3 minutes, okay. So maybe I'll just first go to the audience just to see if there's any questions that you might have for any of our panelists. Not seeing any now, but I'll turn to our panelists. Do you have any questions for each other that you might want to ask or learn a little bit more about their projects? It's getting to be end of day, I can tell. Nothing? Okay. Well, I have a couple questions maybe I'll ask. So just turning to Birgit, who started us out. One of the things that I was curious about, you had talked about legal protections for parents with disabilities, and that's a particular issue that touches me as a parent with a disability. You said that in your country, the legal rights had been improving. Can you say a little bit more about what that looks like? Like legal protections was getting better, right? Stronger?
In Germany, we have a new law changing the financial support of disabled people. And for the first time, the right to assistance for parents are written down. Also for parents with physically disabilities or blind parents, but also for parents with learning disabilities. So it's written down, and now it has to be
enforced,
become reality.
Yes.
Yeah, gets to reality.
Yes, great. Well, thank you for that. Anybody else on the panel? Anything that you didn't cover that you wanted to add? Anyone else from the audience? Yes, why don't you go ahead?
I would like to highlight the partnership between the staff and service users in Shekulo Tov. The head of the knowledge from lived experience in Shekulo Tov makes sure that people get all the support they need in order to be involved in decision-making and service design. For example, you cannot be a staff member in Shekulo Tov without being interviewed and recommended by service user.
Thank you for that. Thank you. Anybody else? Okay. Well, I think we'll just wrap up because we do want to leave the stage now because to prepare for the next panel. But again, I just want to thank you all and for all of you who traveled so far to come to Vienna to present about your project. I do hope that if anyone in the audience wants to have a more engaged, detailed conversation with any of our panelists today, that you'll do so during the course of the next day or so. So thank you so much. Really appreciate it. A round of applause for everybody. Thank you.